The follow-up is simple. Ask a question, listen to the answer, then follow up. I'm your host, Noah Kozlov. Enjoy.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Follow-Up Podcast. I'm Edith, and this is my dad, Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a different conversation about something I want to talk about. And this week we're going to talk about Susan B. Anthony.
Your voice is pretty cute when it gets really high like that. When you say something I want to talk about. So Susan B. Anthony, the Who Was series, you like reading the Who Was, Who Is, and we've talked about one other before, and that was Roberto Clemente, the Pittsburgh Pirates legend, and took away one quote from that and had a conversation. But you read Susan B. Anthony, you told me today that this is what I want to talk about. So you can go to your local library and check out the Susan B. Anthony book.
It's a really good book.
Same way we did. And so what impressed you the most about Susan B. Anthony?
Just like you tell me every day before I leave for school or camp or really anything, you say, be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a leader. She thought everybody should have a right. Everybody should do the same thing. Like, women should be able to do the same thing as men. Because it isn't fair. So she fought for women's rights. And I agree. And she was a great leader for that.
So specifically, she was fighting for the women's right to what?
To vote.
To vote, okay. So the women's suffrage movement. So this was in the 1800s and through the Civil War, and then women...
Into the 1900s.
Right, into the 1900s, and the women ended up getting the right to vote with the 19th Amendment in... Do you remember the year?
I think it was like 1920.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 1920. It was 1920. I think it was. Yeah, right after.
It would have been her 100th birthday.
Right. Yeah, it was right after World War One.
Because she was born in 1820.
Okay.
I remember seeing that like a few hours ago, looking in the back of the book.
Oh, so right. So she unfortunately didn't live to see the 19th Amendment come through. But what types of? You said you're impressed with the type of leader she was. What types of qualities do great leaders have? Like specifically Susan B. Anthony.
She had the right. A quality she had was she could speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was like, she never gave up.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, if I want to accomplish this, then I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And I'm never going to give up. And this is what I'm going to follow. And I'm going to follow this for my whole life.
Right, and failure wasn't an option. I remember that being one of the chapters, that failure wasn't an option. And she, when you say that she, one of the good qualities is that she spoke up. There are a lot of people who might speak up, but not be able to rally support of other people.
Right.
She was. Her speeches, she was able to gain support from so many other people. People were drawn to her.
Right, and her speech wasn't basically just like a regular speech. It was like a fight in her speech.
Mm-hmm. Right. So exactly. She always had a clear message, and she made some mistakes along the way, like in the Civil War when she thought, well, if we put this fight for the right to vote on the back burner and help in the war effort, then the men will see that we helped in the war effort, and I think this was a battle that she had with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, that if we fight in the war, help the war effort, that the men will see us as equals, and of course they'll allow us to vote because now they see how we're helping, and it didn't happen that way. So,
but did they do that?
They ended up doing that in. Yes, and they were helping the North in the fight in the Civil War, but then...
But at least they helped.
Right, but then still the men didn't respect them afterwards, and then I thought it was really a shame. So she was very close with Frederick Douglass, which I didn't
never knew that.
Right, which I didn't know that either, and her father was very close with Frederick Douglass, but then so many of the other, when it came to... for blacks to get the right to vote, well, black men, then they were still, the women were excluded.
Right, so. I remember that they changed like white to like all, like
Mhm.
white and black, but they didn't change male.
Right. Right. So it was still regardless of race, but not sex, not men,
Correct.
not men or women. And does that make you think about your role as a young girl, and and as you age, you'll become a woman, about leadership and making sure that you fight for what's right, or at least you speak up for what's right?
I do think so. Do you think you would probably have thought of that and thought you would do that?
If I was in that type of position,
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I would. I don't know if I would have done it at such a young age as she would have, but if I like to think, all right, so she's fighting for women's rights, and Martin Luther King was fighting for civil rights in the way that blacks were wronged, and if there was something that was directly affecting me, would I have stood up to that level?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there are
But
plenty.
would you still stand up at least?
Sure.
a
Yes.
little?
Yes. Exactly. And support it for sure. Would I be the leader that they were? No, probably not. And especially at that age, I just wasn't presented with that type of situation.
But also,
fortunately,
you probably wouldn't be fighting for your whole life.
Right. I mean, she gave up her life for this. Like this is what she was going to do. I mean, she was fighting for the right for women to be able to get divorced. I mean,
Right.
she was also, it was not just for women's right to vote, but well, wait a second, you get married and then you're not allowed to be divorced, and then the man owns you, and she was talking about that being like another form of slavery to a certain extent, which I think was a little bit of a reach, but
like the woman, but it's kind of like for women's rights, kind of like slavery, because the men are just like, do this, do that.
Right, you will do this, you will do that, and I think some were.
And you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right, but then I think some of the relationships were abusive, but not to the level of slavery, where you're just
Correct.
completely dehumanized. But,
I know, but it was still
yes.
like a little bit like that.
I understand. Well, and she was equating it to that a little bit. She was making.
It's
that
kind of
comparison.
like it.
Yeah, but her as a Susan B. Anthony as a leader, I also think it was important that she recognized that she couldn't do it just by herself.
Right. She needs supporters. She needs other people to help her.
Mm-hmm. And she found that.
She did.
Yeah. That was Elizabeth Cady Stanton, right? And they didn't always agree either, and I think that's also.
But that's okay.
I think that's also important, that you have someone maybe with a little bit of a different viewpoint, of some different ideas, some other suggestions, and you've got to learn how to bend that way and see another point of view while still trying to get to a common goal. Right. So so not just dismissing someone right away when they don't agree
that's
with
not a good
everything you
idea.
say. Right. Exactly.
Instead of you have to listen before you say, no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, because I mean that other person, no matter what the situation is, might want to get to the same end goal that you do,
Right.
but maybe your jumping off point is a little bit different, or maybe your step 3 is a little bit different. Well, let's work together. All right, we'll take your step 3, we'll do my step 4, and
Like
and
maybe
figure it out.
like Susan step 1, Elizabeth step 2. Susan step 3, Elizabeth step 4.
Mhm.
Like alternating them, but maybe not just like that, but like putting
right.
steps together so we have both of our ideas. And maybe that even better than just one of their ideas. Like
Yeah. And maybe, so I was just thinking about in leadership. So I was president of our student council in elementary school. So I was like the head of the students in 6th grade, and president of an honor society in high school, and a leader at the radio station in college, and being a leader in other forms of work. And mom is a leader at work. So yeah, so I think leadership comes in all different forms.
A bunch of different ways. Sometimes you don't even know. that you're being a leader
Right.
because you're all basically you don't know, but you just can.
Right. So I'll give you that example. So in sports, there are some players that lead with their like rah rah attitude, like the
Right.
encouragement, and there are others that lead by example. So we always say to you is to be a leader, do the right thing. Other people will look to you, and you won't know it. You might not
Right.
know it, but they'll look to see, oh, what's Eden doing? How is she handling this, or how is she carrying herself, or oh, wait, Eden's doing that. I think that's probably the right thing to do. And so you're leading by example, because you're not
Right.
telling everybody that I'm the leader. Hey, everybody, this is how we should be doing it, but they'll look to you as a leader by example.
Right, you're just like doing what you're supposed to be doing, like say in school. Like you're doing what the teacher's telling you to do, and if someone didn't hear, they might just look to someone else to say what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that you wanted to talk about Susan B. Anthony, and you took so much away from that. What else is on your mind? With anything else?
No.
All right. So let's see. On the back, sometimes they give you suggestions of. Do they give suggestions in
No.
this one of who to read next?
No.
No, not for this one.
No. Do they usually?
Yeah, sometimes they'll have.
No?
Yeah, sometimes they will.
Do they have no Roberto Clemente?
I don't know. On the back of there it says.
A bright.
They always say
a
they
bright
give you like
lady.
the check marks and
then, like,
all the above. So what did they say she was?
A bright young girl who loved reading books. A courageous school teacher who fought to change the rules. The most famous leader of the women's rights movement. And then it says all of the above with the check mark.
Mm-hmm. And that's who she was.
Mm-hmm. Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah. A good person to look up to. And I'm proud of you for being a leader at such a young age. Love you.
Love you.